Welcome to today's Explainer. Let's just jump right in and start with the universal truth. Manual IT, it didn't fail because your team wasn't working hard. I mean, if anything, they're probably drowning in a 50-tab spreadsheet right at this very moment just trying to keep the lights on. The reality here is that the manual model failed simply because the enterprise estate has completely outgrown it. We've hit this breaking point where relying on VLOOKUPs and email chaos to manage a massive distributed infrastructure, it just doesn't work anymore.
And here's the core problem. The true cost of doing nothing, it's compounding every single day. Think about your standard reporting cycle in a manual IT setup. Every quarter, somebody exports a massive list from a database, holds their breath hoping Excel doesn't crash, and sits down to reconcile software licenses by hand. Meanwhile, you've got someone else scrambling to rebuild audit evidence totally from scratch. And honestly, the most frustrating part? By the time that final report is actually formatted and saved, the truth is already old. It's totally stale.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how that incredibly stale data triggers panic. Leadership constantly asks these three seemingly simple questions. What do we own? What are we licensed for? And what's still exposed? But in a manual environment, no one can actually answer them on the spot. There's no way. So this leads directly to teams having to improvise. You get those heroic all-hands-on-deck fire drills right before a major software renewal, and massive, stressful scrambles the absolute second that dreaded auditor's email hits the inbox.
Section 1. The manual IT breaking point, when the estate outgrows the spreadsheet. Let's unpack what this actually looks like on the ground. You've got a highly distributed estate, right? But your data is entirely disconnected. Hardware truth lives over here in one place. Software licenses live in completely different spreadsheets over there. And those critical security patches? Yeah, they're just sitting in the ticket queue abyss waiting to be processed. Because of these silos, organizations are basically forced into this quiet acceptance that some devices, some licenses, and some seriously critical security risks will just always be unknown. You end up with stale inventory, constant license drift, a growing patch backlog, and of course, that inevitable audit scramble.
Section 2. The hidden bill. The compounding tax of inaction.
Look at how this cost stack just rises over time across waste, audits, incidents, and labor. The reality is, sticking with the status quo is not free. The longer you wait to modernize your systems, the more expensive later becomes. Why? Well, because waste compounds. Audits get exponentially harder to defend, and your IT estates, they just get more and more distributed. You aren't just paying once, you are paying a compounding tax on inaction across audit risk, security exposure, and literally countless lost IT hours.
So what exactly makes up this hidden bill? Well, it's unused licenses you pay for month after month. It's the massive audit and true-up spend that hits you simply because your license position isn't defensible. It's buying duplicate hardware because absolutely nobody trusts the redeployment data. I mean, why risk it, right? It's the critical security exposure when vulnerable software just sits unpatched between these manual cycles. And of course, it's the sheer volume of IT hours lost. Time spent reconciling spreadsheets instead of actually improving operations.
This quote perfectly summarizes the pain. The bill isn't one line item, it's death by 1,000 delays. It's not just one massive invoice that hits your desk out of nowhere. It's the slow, steady bleed of resources, time, and security that comes from relying on outdated manual processes. This is exactly why a unified, modern solution is no longer just a nice-to-have. It is absolutely crucial. Section 3. The ZioSet paradigm shift, moving from disconnected silos to governed automation. Okay, let's dive into this.
There is such a stark dichotomy here between the reactive chaos of the old way and real-time, governed automation. ZioSet changes the entire operating model, not just your tooling. Let's walk through it. Look at discovery. Manual IT relies on periodic scans, right? While governed automation uses continuous agent-based discovery. For license truth, manual means a stressful pre-audit crunch, but the new paradigm, it gives you real-time entitlement versus actual usage. Patching goes from sitting forever in ticket queues to policy-driven orchestration. Audit evidence shifts from being rebuilt seasonally to being generated continuously. And finally, scale. To scale manual IT, you literally just have to throw more people at the problem. ZioSet? It scales through governed automation.
The foundation of this whole transformation is beautifully simple. One platform, one agent, one data layer. By operating this way, ZioSet entirely eliminates those three disconnected silos we were talking about earlier. It acts as a single operating system for your entire IT estate, bringing everything into one unified view. It's a real game changer.
Let's deconstruct exactly what that platform actually encompasses across its three pillars. First up, you have ZioSet ITAM, that is IT Asset Management, which provides your hardware and lifecycle truth. Second is ZioSet SAM, or Software Asset Management, handling your actual license position and eliminating all that waste. And third, ESM, Enterprise Service Management, taking care of patching, deployment, and endpoint compliance. Remember, these are absolutely not three separate silos. This is one truth, operating as one unified system to give you total visibility and control over your environment.
Section 4. The 5-stage automation loop. How ZioSet works continuously.
So ZioSet runs this exact loop continuously in the background, day to day. It starts with discovering what exists on every single endpoint. Yes, even those remote devices completely off the VPN. From there, it instantly tracks ownership, software versions, and lifecycle state, automatically analyzing your risk, waste, and renewal exposure. Then, instead of heroic overtime on weekends, it optimizes using governed workflows to just fix the issues. And finally, it governs, utilizing daily logs, roles, and audit-ready evidence. It happens every single day, completely seamlessly.
And you know what? This creates a massive mindset shift. On one side, you have the persistent, reactive anxiety of manual IT, can we survive the next audit? But on the other, the calm control of governed automation changes the question entirely. Why wouldn't we already be ready? When your evidence is being generated continuously, that constant fear of the audit, it completely disappears.
Section 5. The true cost of nothing. The verdict.
It really all comes down to this powerful statement. The real question isn't whether you can afford to modernize, it's whether you can afford another year of doing nothing. Because while you wait, the waste in your organization just continues to grow, your security exposure widens, and that intense audit pressure, it never slows down. The hidden tax of inaction is actively draining your resources right now.
The true cost of doing nothing? Well, you're already paying it. Are you ready to stop paying the hidden tax of manual IT? You can explore ZioSet's agentic platform by booking a demo at zionit.com. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to taking back control of your IT environment.